It's statements like this that really get my wheels turning. These are Jay-Z's parents, Adnis Reeves and Gloria Carter. Married in the 60s, they were together for 13 years. Together they had 4 children, Andrea and Michelle, over here to the far left. And over here, sitting next to Beyonce, we have Eric. Jay-Z speaks about shooting Eric because he took his ring. He also says that he took clothes from him because as he was coming up, Eric was the fly one. So there's that. This is the only picture of Adnis that the media has. But this is their 4th son, Sean Corey Carter, former Def Jam CEO, founder of the 40/40 Club, Rock Nation as well, co-founder of Rockaware, and CEO of the Project Panther Bidco. The 52-year-old also has a $70 million stake in Uber. He is the first rapper to be inducted into the Songwriter Hall of Fame and the first living rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And just recently, he was seeking $4.5 million in damages from a perfume company, Parlux Perfumes, for a breach of contract, which was dismissed by the court. I don't know if at this time he realized how accomplished he would become. He attended George Westinghouse in New York City with Biggie Smalls as well as Busta Rhymes, but didn't finish and got his credit in the streets. It is said that he has Filipino roots on his father's side as well as deep Rwandan roots. Due to the fact that Adnis has very little information on him on the media, it's hard to deep dive into that lineage. But Beyonce did make a reference in her song My Baby Father, Bloodline Rwanda, that sparked the media asking questions. There was even an alleged ID with Jay-Z's Rwandan name, Jacques Zirasunda, that made its way around the internet and just got the Rwandan people excited that they had produced somebody like Jay-Z. Now, an interesting fact about Rwanda is that in their school curriculum, they don't teach that they teach that no Rwandan person was enslaved. I thought that was an interesting little note. Jay-Z was raised by his mother, Gloria, and his grandmother, Hattie White, who is said to be his maternal grandmother, but I found that it is his paternal grandmother. This is his father's mother. His mother said he would beat on tables. He was early into music. She got him a boombox. That's the whole story. She was struggling. Dad was out on drugs. He wasn't there. He was in the streets. He became a product of the streets. And there was nothing they could do about it because that was the way things were back in the 70s and 80s. So they just went with it. At the same time, there is no information on the sisters Andrea or Michelle or the brother Eric to this day. Come on back for part 2. Hey, you guys, welcome back to part 2. We're going to be getting into the wheelings and dealings of Jay-Z currently. We all know that Hova has the baddest chick in the game wearing his chain. He married Beyonce in 2008. They started dating in 2002, very secretly, until he proposed in 2006. In 2008, there were rumors of a love child that he had in Trinidad and Tobago, but there is no name or any record of that. Before Jay-Z married Beyonce, he was rumored to have been linked to several women, including Rosario Dawson, Carmen Bryan, who is Nas's baby mother, and this is the lady that the situation that sparked the feud between the two. Charlie Baltimore, who got him caught up in a 99 assault charge with another gentleman by a stabbing, but he got away with that. Of course, there was his stint with Aaliyah that he went back and forth with Dame Dash with, and she ultimately ended up with him. And this young lady here, Kathy Coriana White, who was a publicist. She had her own publicist firm, The White Corporation, and in August of 2010, she was killed or found dead. Supposedly, she had an aneurysm. The story is that she was having an affair with Jay-Z, and she literally reached out to Beyonce and said that this is what I'm going to do because this is the situation, and I know you guys are pregnant because in January of the following year, Blue Ivy was born. Miss White did not make it to the new year. I also remember hearing that he was linked to Free from 106 and Park, but who knows? In 2015, there was a rumored love child that he had. His name is Ramir Satterwhite, and there's no information on him either. But by that time, Beyonce and Jay-Z were in their stride. They're virtually indestructible, if you ask me. And in 2017, they had the twins, Rumi and Sir. And since there is no current or active information, that leaves for speculation. Somebody who is as accomplished as Jay-Z does not get there by just happenstance. especially when you try to look into the history of the individual and there's just gossip and there's rumors and there's, hair stories and things like that to distract you from what could possibly be. He's literally Puffy with businesses. He goes into the business, he makes his money, he leaves the business. He goes into the business, he makes it like Puffy does with artists, creates the artist, leaves the artist. Nothing really develops. He just has the influence. But he's the greatest rapper alive, so what do you say? And for me, the questions start here. His mother, Gloria Carter, who sits as a chair on the Sean Carter Foundation, has been accused of misappropriating funds that have gone into the foundation that is supposed to help inner city youth, but she's directed the funds towards the LGBT community. She also shares the same $1 billion net worth as Jay-Z, which is questionable. And as the one who raised them, of course, you think she's entitled to it, but you can't find much information on her either, so what's really good? So I dug a little deeper. He started his fatherless child spree in the late 80s and early 90s. He was running drugs for Alpo Martinez through Jersey, New York City, as well as Maryland, and that is where he met Lisa Mercer. In 1990, he carried a relationship on with her that the town knew about, that the family knew about, and Letitia Mercer was created. He didn't stick around. He doesn't acknowledge the paternity. Lisa hasn't done any court proceedings, but she's more public with it, making a Instagram page as Jay-Z's first daughter or something like that. And that's the way she's going about things. Letitia's mother, Lisa, has been suffering from MS for the last 15 years. And as well as the new children that Jay-Z just had with Beyonce, Letitia herself is a mother of twin boys. 4 kids altogether. Also running drugs in Philly, he met Wanda, who knew him as Rock back in '92. He brought her back to Brooklyn and was messing around with her at his aunt's projects there. The condom broke on one fateful encounter and Ramir Satterthwaite was created. It said that 2 weeks after the incident that she saw him after that, and then she never saw him again. Ramir was born July 13th, 1993. In 2010, Wanda fell ill and put Ramir in the custody of her godmother and paralegal, Lily Coley. And in 2011, she started legal proceedings to verify DNA. Robert Graves, who was on Ramir's birth certificate as his father, his stepfather, was removed from the birth certificate because his DNA did not match. However, Jay-Z, never speaking publicly about the incident, had his lawyers address the matter, saying, Mr. Carter is not an interested party with respect to custody of Ramir. There has been no viable claim of familial relationships with Mr. Carter. In 2015, allegations of collusion were addressed and filed. They stated that Ramir's lawyers were being influenced by Jay-Z's lawyers. Jay-Z's lawyers and Ramir's lawyers were good friends and neighbors. In 2012, Wanda was put into a medically induced coma for her heart failure and complications with her lungs. During that time, lawyers went in to have her sign documents removing Lily from the petition without consent and for nefarious reasons, resulting in the whole case being thrown out. Also in 2011, as his DNA was being requested for Ramir, he was denying his involvement with video vixen Chanel Scott and a love child they had in 2002. But unlike his first 2 children, DNA was confirmed and he paid Chanel Scott $1 million to keep his name off of the birth certificate. Come on back for part 2. I'm about to wrap this up. Let's wrap up this fatherless child spree of Jay-Z. I did want to mention when he was messing with Wanda, she was 16 years old at the time to his 23 years old. So that would have been something had DNA been confirmed. But back to Chanel and the $1 million that he gave her to keep his name off of the birth certificate for Issa Jael. He pays child support, around $5,000 a month. They live in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember that little Trinidad and Tobago part. Now with his relationship with Beyonce developing, marriage and all, career success, obviously kids were to follow. The people, me included, couldn't wait for Beyonce to get pregnant and to see what those kids would look like. Jay-Z was called to the fire and asked to answer allegations of these illegitimate children. And I do hate to call them that, illegitimate children, because they are people and they have mothers, but it's a sad situation. So I use the whatever. With that said, that following year, the top of the year in 2012, Blue Ivy was born. And according to the media, it was his first legitimate child. Like I said, Letitia Mercer is coming for hers on social media. Ramir is an up-and-coming artist, a rapper, just like his father. Jay-Z's lawyers actually reached out to the Satterwhite family in regards to Ramir and his rapping skills to bring him on Jay-Z's label. But he had to finish school, so Lily said no. Ramir states that he does not want any money from Jay-Z. He's not trying to cause too much confusion. He just wants him to own up to what he's done. In 2018, he made a statement saying he's supposed to be a positive role model in the community. He stands there screaming Black Lives Matter, will tell the truth and take responsibility. Ramir has released a song called Stacks that you can listen to on YouTube, and also claimed that Jay-Z had been blocking his success into the music industry. As far as Issa JL, his child with Chanel Scott, financially they are made whole, essentially, and live out of the way in regards to media and tampering with the family itself, the Knowles Carter family, that is. And now we have Blue Ivy, Sir Carter, and Rumi Carter. And when it comes to Blue for me, if you've ever seen the Netflix documentary called The Black Godfather, that is what Blue Ivy is going to be. She is going to be a young lady in the know, can make connections, can put people together to create something. That is what she's going to be doing. Allegedly, she is Beyonce's manager. So what better start in the know than be 10 years old and so deeply connected in the media?